What's going on YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. So, everybody in the knife world now knows that Bark River has closed their doors. They didn't retire. They didn't say, okay, well, it's time to go off into the sunset. We've done enough. We sold over 1,000,000 knives. We're through. No. They closed their doors because they got busted for fraud. It's a scandal. But all they really did is prove the knife snobs to be idiots, really complete morons. And I couldn't be happier. I talk about all the time about a knife is a knife. If it works, it works. And then people say, oh, but if it's made in China or it's made here, it's not made here. And it's only good if it's made. And they just talk like they know what they're talking about. This is Jack Wolf knives, right? They are not made in America with American steel, and this is one of the greatest knife companies on the planet. I would take one of these knives any day, anywhere, and be 100% happy knowing that this knife is going to survive whatever I'm cutting it with, or whatever I'm cutting with. So I'm looking around to see just what's next to me, but I could take this Tops American made and I can go out and I can do the same kind of cuts. I mean, size for size, obviously with that one, but I could do the same kind of cuts as I can with something made in China. And people seem to not understand that prior to there being a United States of America, for thousands of years, there were other countries, right? Other continents, other countries, long before we even had a country. And you think about it, that means prior to gun ownership, everybody who had war and everybody who had fights, they fought with steel. So the greatest empires in the world, is a hair in my mouth. You had the Persian Empire and the Mongolians, and you had the United Kingdom sweep, and you had all the Chinese dynasties and feudal Japan, and of course the greatest of all, until United States of America, you had the Roman Empire. All of these empires who were they committed genocide in certain places, and they did it with steel that they forged. They didn't go to America. They didn't send a boat to United States of America, which didn't exist, and say, hey, we need some proper blades so we can actually win a war. No, they forged their own. And they weren't just battle worthy, they were battle monsters. And to think that you can't get a good blade from a place that's been making great blades since the beginning of steel, well, then there's just something wrong inside your head. You're not all there. So basically, Bark River is an American knife company who uses American steel. It was CM54, I think it is. So they use American steel, American company, American made, American everything American. All these guys go out and buy. They'll spend hundreds of dollars on every knife from them because this, and then they'll make videos. This knife is stronger than any other knife, and they'll do exactly what somebody's doing with a steel will, or any kind of, Asian knife company. Now, that's not to say that there aren't Asian knife companies who do a bad job. I mean, you can look at Cold Steel. It's kind of up in the air. A lot of their stuff is made in Taiwan, and some of it's going to come out absolutely perfect, where some of it's going to come with really poor heat treats. That's one. But then you have other knife companies like Jack Wolf Knives, like Steel Will, like a whole bunch of others that make just phenomenal freaking products. Kind of like Bark River. Oh, yeah. So basically, all these people are saying, oh, well, I have a Bark River knife, and this Bark River can do anything, and they'll do a video. no Chinese steel can match this knife. And they're banging on it and they're showing how tough it is. The entire time, they were using a Chinese. Now, not all of them. There was only A, certain models, and B, it wasn't a lot of their old stuff. That didn't count. This started happening recently. So, but people are out there buying these Bark River knives. This is obviously tops. They're buying the Bark River knives and they're displaying them as the steel they're told it is. And they're using this steel to show you how much greater it is than anything you can get overseas. They're showing you how much better it is than anything you can get from China. The problem is, it's from China, and they're using a Chinese blade saying this is the most superior knife in the world and it will outdo no Chinese blade can do what I'm doing with this knife. Except the one you're using, because it happens to be the Chinese knife. And there's no better wake-up call to knife snobs than for Bark River. Now I want to go out and buy Bark River, because it's like you just, I wish they said, okay, hey, guess what? We screwed up, but you guys never even knew it. The steel is equally as good as what we've been selling you, and you're not complaining until you now know it's from China. Once you know, now it's, oh, wait, this is a piece of crap. That same knife that you just said is the great Thor's hammer is now no good because now it's China. That's the mentality of knife snobs. They don't care how good the steel is or how good the knife is. They just care what their opinion is to the world, saying, if you don't get it here, then you're getting garbage. I mean, samurai used katanas forged in Japan, not Kentucky. So to sit there and say that if you're using a knife that is not USA, then your knife is going to be inferior, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I've taken all those knives right there, and only a couple of them are made in the USA, and I have absolutely banged with them, and I have no problem. Somebody just did a video on my Predator knife, and they shot it with a gun, and there was no problem. It's not made in America, but you can't tell that to a knife snob. Knife snobs you cannot reach. So for Bark River to get caught in this fraud is one of the single best events in knifedom, right? For actual blade people, you don't have to spend $1,000 on a knife to get good quality function. You just don't. Now, is there anything wrong with supporting the United States of America? Hell no. Hell no. I have my K-bar right there. I got a Tops right there. I got all kinds of USA blades, and I'm proud of them. But that doesn't make them better or worse than any other blade. It's how they're made, from what maker, how the heat treat is. That's it. That's it. I can take a CJRB, right? Asian made CJRB, phenomenal knife. I can take this and I can take a cold steel that's 4 times the price, and I might be able to get more use out of this edge than the cold steel because of the heat treat. So even when you're talking about price, you're saying, oh, well, I mean, a $400 knife's obviously going to be better than a $50 knife. No, that's not always true either. So they just, the people over at Bark River kind of did the world a favor, and they're paying the price for it, which is kind of stupid. They should, somebody should just shake their hand and say, okay, you screwed up. You lied a little bit, but you still put out a quality product. So maybe, I was just talking to my man Jared. He said he wishes what they would have done is just put out those blades and said, hey, here's a budget option. You know, they could have taken a $300 knife and sold it for $200 knife with the different steel, so people can get into Bark River. And then over time, what they could have done is just introduced more of that steel when people realized, holy crap, this is still really, really good steel. Um, so I don't know, Bark River. A lot of people are kind of wang over it. And they're crying about it because the knife that they just told everybody is the greatest knife in the world, and they proved it by showing how tough and resilient it is, turns out to be the knife they've been telling everybody is garbage from a different maker. So, I don't know. Bark River, you did no wrong with me. I think that all you did is open up some eyes, and you literally proved to the world that a good knife is a good knife, no matter where the steel comes from, no matter where it's made. A good knife is a good knife. I would still support Bark River from here on in. I would still support them. It would just, okay, well, put down the real knife designation, right on the blade. But let people know what it really is, and just keep selling, because they didn't sell out by giving you an inferior product, right? They weren't giving you this and telling you it was this. No, they didn't. They didn't say, all right, well, this $15 blade is the exact same as this $500 blade. They weren't saying that. They were taking a steel that costs a little bit less, but the differences in blade retention and strength and all that, the differences are so minor you would never know using that same knife for 100 years. Just is what it is. So I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at Bark River, because every single time I put up a knife and people say, oh yeah, but it's made in blah, blah, blah. Oh, I would totally buy Jack Wolf knives if they were made in America, but they're not, so they're no good. Okay. Well, the knives are good. Sorry to tell you, you're wrong. But some people they can't get it in their heads because they go onto a forum and somebody who sounds smart tells them that it's bad. And so they go, oh, it's bad, I better believe it. We call those people sheep. So if you believe what's not true about knife steel, then you're going to be stuck your entire life not knowing what a really good knife could be. Sorry, you're a failure. But for the rest of us, the rest of the people who just want good knives, and if I'm buying the knife in an American store owned by an American store owner, then I'm supporting Americans, even if the knife is made in China. A portion of the money will go to China, and a portion of the money will go to America. It's not like you're only supporting China. And I think people get that in their heads. They're like, oh, you bought a Chinese knife. You just supported China. Okay, yeah, but I bought it at Billy Bob's drugstore down the road. You don't think 100% of the profits of that knife go straight to China? Billy Bob says, hey, why don't you stock your knives here? I'll sell them and collect none of the money. It won't help any of my family or me, or the taxes that are paid won't go to Americans. So yeah, when you buy a knife in America, it doesn't matter where it's made, because the profits are still going to America, right? So if I opened up a shop right now and I said to CJRB, I said, hey, I want a dealer's price on 50 of these. I'm going to take money out of my pocket. I'm going to pay a certain amount of money, way lower than what they cost, and then I'm going to sell them a little higher. Everything above the money that I paid is American profit. That would go in my pocket, my family, to my state, to my city, to my country. People are really stupid when it comes to this kind of stuff, because they really think that if you buy a Chinese knife in America, then you're only supporting China. You're not. You're supporting America. You're supporting trade. You're supporting knife makers. All right. I'm pretty good with that. I'm actually really good with that. And for all the people who love to cry about it and make these little comments, oh, I'd never buy, blah, blah, blah. The one tool that pretty much 99% of us have that we rely on every single day, we trust our lives to, in an emergency, we need this. It's not made in America. All those little people texting little things, little comments about, oh yeah, but your knife's not made in America. Well, neither's that cell phone you're texting that important message you needed to get out to me. Guess what? It's made in Asia. So if you're really crying, if you're really worried about it, make sure every bit of clothing you have, make sure every bit of furniture you have, make sure everything you own, your computer, your phone, you make sure every component of your car, you better make damn sure that every single thing you own is 100% American. All your foods, everything is made, sourced right here in America. Because if you have even an American made electrical thing, but the chip is Chinese, well, you might want to get rid of that chip and go get yourself an American one, because you have no right to talk. How can you get on an Asian cell phone and then say, yeah, but you can't have a knife that's made in America? Hold on, I'm listening to the birds chirp. Yeah, you can't. It's just asinine how people try and say that. Guess what? Your American car, a lot of it was probably made in Mexico or Canada. Oh no, what to do? So get off your high horse. Get over it. You're not selling out on your country because you bought a knife made in China. You're not. I'm sorry. You're not a sellout. You're an American. You buy things, you own things. Your cell phone does not make you a sellout. So why does your pocket knife? I don't know. So Bark River, first of all, thank you for proving to everybody in the world that steel done right is good steel, no matter where it's from. Thank you. I applaud you, Bark River. Do I wish you didn't have to lie to prove this point? Yeah, I wish you were more honest. It's kind of dirty. But in the long run, people now are saying, wait, my Bark River knife, I just found out is made in China, that I've been using every single day and telling people how great it is. It's Chinese. And it's still good. Uh-oh. What are you going to do? That's my feedback on this whole thing. Oh well, that's it for this one. I am Donnie B all day. Hate it if you want. Until next video.